The Montauk Project, according to mainstream sources, are conspiracy theories that began circulating in the 1980s. They are stories of secret government-run experiments conducted at an Air Force base in Montauk, New York. These experiments consisted of teleportation, mind control, contact with extraterrestrial life, and most famous and infamous, experiments in time travel. In this story, we will be discussing a specific time travel story involving the notorious Montauk Project. According to professor and UFOologist Jacques Vallée, writer and researcher Peter Moon, along with supposed whistleblowers who were involved in the project, Preston Nichols and Al Bielek, give fascinating insights on the activities conducted in Montauk, New York. The story of the Montauk Project begins in 1942. The site known as Camp Hero, or the Montauk Air Force Station, was initially commissioned by the U.S. Army and was initially a coastal defense station during World War II. Camp Hero remained open until 1981. But the Montauk Air Force Station, including the famous Sage Radar Tower, was closed and decommissioned in 1957. But according to Preston Nichols, the camp secretly reopened in 1971. This is where the Montauk Project story begins. According to the accounts of the Montauk, New York residents, during and after World War II, they witnessed German U-boats off the coast of Montauk, New York, along with U.S. naval boats. After World War II, the U.S. discovered the Germans were engaging in deep science, metaphysical and paranormal research and development. It was in the interest of the U.S. to bring those scientists and their research into the U.S. to continue their research and development, but only on behalf of the U.S. government. Therefore, it appears there was a secret alliance between the German military and the American armed forces to continue research and development into metaphysical and hidden sciences the Germans were working on. Writer-researcher Peter Moon explains there might have been an underwater entrance to the base or a deeper underground section of the base. Many researchers believe it was there where the experiments were conducted. Under the Sage Radar Station and antenna, a facility was constructed to engage in these experiments. The Germans secretly assisted the U.S. military in the construction and gave them secret technology such as the Montauk chair, which was connected to a series of computers, such as the Cray-1 supercomputer and an IBM 360 computer, electrical coils, and the Sage radar system, creating a powerful transmitter that could be used to lessen the risks of humans undergoing invisibility and even time travel. A person would sit in this mysterious chair and project their thoughts to a specific time the scientist would tell them to imagine. Then a portal was created with the technology they were using, and someone would step into the portal and would be transported to that specific time and space. The Montauk chair was the biggest mystery. It was given to the American Armed Forces from the German Armed Forces, who are rumored to have obtained it from a crashed extraterrestrial craft. Children were used for the experiments because children have more energy, specifically more creative energy, that can be manipulated more easily by the scientist. The children many times had no parents and were taken from child services facilities, or parents were in the military and gave their children up for these secret military experiments. The military would show up only to collect intel and documents on what was going on at the facility. They would meet with the head scientists and discuss the projects and their results of the experiments. Then they were gone. The scientists and engineers ran the facility, but the military controlled everything, from the types of experiments conducted to the results they told the scientists they needed to achieve. A child would sit in the Montauk chair. A scientist would tell the child what they needed to visualize to create a portal to the time and space the scientist wished to have someone transport to. Once the portal was created and large enough, another child would walk right through it and be in the time-space created from the portal. On the other side, the child would have a device used to communicate with the scientist in the Montauk facility. When the child was ready to return to the facility, the child sitting in the Montauk chair would recreate the portal. At the time, space location of the child. Once the child saw the portal, they would walk right into it, walking back into the Montauk facility. According to researcher Peter Moon and scientist and engineer Preston Nicholas, who worked at the facility, wrote several books about the events that transpired with the time travel experiments. They wrote that the Montauk boys went to a variety of places across time and space, to the biblical days to the distant future. Much time was spent viewing events from both the First and Second World War. Pictures were taken and events were monitored. It is unknown if the project personnel interfered or tried to alter specific events during these two wars. Several boys disappeared in time and never returned. One point of interest to the scientist was the year 6037. Every boy that went inside the portal had to first go to the year 6037, where they would see a statue of a large golden horse in a bombed-out, empty city. They saw no people, no animals, not even much sound. Like the city had been empty for years, even decades. Some of the boys thought it might just be a training mission because it was always their first assignment. But they later discovered the scientist, along with their military handlers, wanted to know why this city, even though it was more than 4,000 years in the future, was empty and mostly destroyed, like a huge war wiped out everyone. One boy went to the year 6037 and followed the head scientist's directive protocols, which was the same for every boy who traveled there. The boy was one of the seasoned travelers who had been to many places and had been there many times. But this time it was different. The boy felt scared that something was off. He sent a message to the Montauk Command Center stating something wasn't right. Then, out of nowhere, another Montauk boy who went missing several years ago walked right up to him. He asked the boy what happened to him. The boy, with a serious, emotionless expression, told him, "That isn't important. I discovered why they kept sending us here. What they are looking for is an ancient city on a dead red land in our solar system. There is something there that poses a threat to all life in our world." The boy relayed the message to Montauk and everything he witnessed. The scientist ordered the boy in the Montauk chair to open a portal to bring the boys home. Then the boy relayed another message. He said there are other creatures here. There's an army of them that look like gray aliens with big eyes and large heads. He messaged them stating they were following them, then the messages ended. The scientist told the boy to close the portal. If there was something else there, it would be cautious to leave the portal open. But the boy never messaged the Montauk facility again, and all contact with him would be impossible to reach. Another Montauk boy lost. When the scientists deciphered the message from the boy, they believed he was referring to the planet Mars. The Cydonia region on Mars, where the famous face on Mars is seen, along with what appears to be ancient pyramids and structures. The scientists relayed their new findings to their military handlers. They told them this is now their main task. The scientists believed because they were successful at traveling through time, the military wanted them to expand their research to off-planet targets. All assets in the Montauk facility would now be redirected towards figuring out how to create a portal between Earth and Mars, specifically between Earth and the Martian pyramids that lay near the mysterious face on Mars, which was discovered by NASA in 1976, also known as the Cydonia region of Mars. It was the desire of the military to explore these Martian structures and determine who or what had made them. And it was in the interests of the Montauk scientists to discover what exactly will happen on Earth in the year 6037. In our next episode, we will be exploring how the Montauk Project was successful, creating a portal to Mars, and what they discovered within the Martian Cydonia region. Until then,